What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will be doing a part 2 of the video series where I demonstrated how to stream video from your Raspberry Pi camera to your local computer all over the local network using Flask, which was really easy to set up. And I have the script in front of me here, as you could see. In this video, instead, we'll be doing an add-on on top of that where I will show you how to stream video not only on your local network, but any Wi-Fi enabled device will now be able to view the stream at the end of this video. So I'll be walking you through step by step of how to get that set up on your Raspberry Pi, all by using a simple tool that we will download and configure on our Raspberry Pi. And by the end of it, you will be able to go to a coffee shop somewhere far from your Raspberry Pi camera that's not the same local network and go to a URL where you will be able to view the video stream in real time. So I'll be walking you through that step by step. Before we get into it, be sure to watch part 1 if you haven't already, because that goes through the code we have set up right here, which we'll be using as the base for this video. And even better, be sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. And even better than that, consider donating to the channel in the link down below. And enough being said, let's get started. Okay, so first things first, you can see I have the code we set up in the first video. One thing alarming you might notice is if you did watch the first video, I'm actually using a different IDE. Do not be alarmed, this is just personal preference, and I'm just using Visual Studio Code on my local computer to write code via the SSH protocol onto my Raspberry Pi. You can use the same technique we used in the first video. Just go to Thani on your Raspberry Pi and code on there. That is fine. I'm just doing this because I prefer it, and I actually don't have a mouse right now to code on my Raspberry Pi in the first place. So if you guys are interested in that, I will link that video series of how to get Visual Studio Code set up for your Raspberry Pi to code on it. Other than that, we have the same exact code as we went over in part 1, which allows us to stream video over a network using a Flask app. So what we want to do on top of this is we want to configure this to allow us to stream from any network. And in order to do that, we're actually going to use a tool called ngrok. So ngrok is a free tool that's easy to set up and downloadable on your Raspberry Pi. And it will create something called a localhost tunnel, which will tunnel the requests to a web URL to the local host on your Raspberry Pi. So when people go to the ngrok URL, they will actually be tunneled to the localhost Flask app running on your Raspberry Pi. And best of all, it's incredibly easy to set up and free to get started with ngrok. So we'll be using that tool. So the first thing we have to do to get started with ngrok is we actually have to download it on our Raspberry Pi. So in order to do that, we just want to go to ngrok.com. I already signed in and created an account. It is free. They do not ask for any credit card information. And once again, we will discuss the pros and cons of using ngrok to do such a thing. So we'll get into that in a bit. But once you are on ngrok, be sure to go to the dashboard. And you can see they have many agents where you can download ngrok on. We just want to go to Raspberry Pi. And we just want to scroll down and go to apt. I use the apt installer on my Raspberry Pi. And you just want to copy this first link to download it. I already have it downloaded, but I'll just show you. So I am in a terminal. So if you are signed into Raspberry Pi, you could just open a terminal app and do the same thing. And you just want to go ahead and copy that link and click enter. So I already did that. I'm not going to click it again. And so that's the first thing you have to copy in and click enter. And then once you have that, you just want to do the next one. So you just want to take this next command that they have here for us, and you just want to paste it in a terminal and click enter. It has this key here, so keep that secret. I'll probably change mine after this video. I don't think it's that big of a deal. However, just keep that auth token as secret as possible. So those are the two things you only need to install ngrok on your Raspberry Pi. So once you have that and there's no errors, you should have the ngrok program downloaded on your Raspberry Pi, which will allow you to create this local host tunnel. And that will make much more sense in a second here, where we will be able to hit that URL from any device that has a Wi-Fi connection and be able to view the Flask app on our Raspberry Pi because it's running this ngrok program in the background. So that's what we're going to do here. So in order to do that next, once we have ngrok, we actually just want to run ngrok. So in order to run ngrok, let's actually just type in ngrok http localhost 5000. And one thing I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to delete this video feed. So before, what happened was, in order to view the video feed, you have to go to the video feed extension in the Flask app. Now we're just going to make the base URL where the video stream is. So let's go ahead and save that. And let's go ahead and now run this ngrok command. So once we click enter and everything works, we should have a generated URL from ngrok that this is a public facing URL. So anyone on the internet that is outside of your local network or is even on your local network can actually click this URL and be funneled to this localhost 5000 on your Raspberry Pi. So in the first video, what happened was if you actually tried to view localhost 5000 from an external network, it just wouldn't take you anywhere. So what we do on top of that is we add this ngrok layer, which will create the funnel request to your local host on your Raspberry Pi, which will allow you to view the video stream. So this is a randomly generated URL. So every time we actually run ngrok, we're going to get a new URL. So this is one of the cons of using the free version of ngrok, is that this is a dynamic URL. So if you want to make this a serious application in ngrok, you probably want to do the paid version so you can get a nice stable URL that all your viewers can view whenever the stream is accessible. However, just for video demonstration purposes, we'll just use this randomly generated URL in the ngrok free version. And so once we have this randomly generated URL, the next thing we want to do is we just want to run the Flask app as we did in the first video. So I am just going to go to a new terminal on my Raspberry Pi here. And the only reason I'm doing this is because I'm just running the program through the CLI. If you are using Thania on your Raspberry Pi, you could just go ahead and click the play button and it'll be the same thing. So we just want to do Python. Actually, I want to go to the directory where that is. So it's in my desktop. And we just want to start the video stream. So Python stream.py. So the only thing we changed in this code from the first video is we just made the base URL, the URL where the video feed is being sent to, as opposed to having that extension. And so now we are running the Flask app, and we also have the local host tunnel from ngrok running on top of that. So now we should have everything set up to view this URL and see the video stream from any device. Okay, so just to prove to you that this URL is working, we're just going to go ahead and copy this URL on our local computer's browser. So we just go ahead and paste it there. I already visited before recording just to make sure that it's working, and it is. And the first time you go to these URLs, it will ask you to visit the site. So you can just go ahead and click that button. You can see right away we are viewing the video stream. One thing you'll notice is if you're looking at the video stream, you'll notice that there is some lag. And one way you can overcome this is you can actually pay for the paid version of ngrok and you can get some more bandwidth. Right now, it's not entirely responsive, so there is a few seconds of lag. So nonetheless, I still think this could be used for a good home security camera or monitoring system despite the few seconds of lag. And another way you can overcome this is, of course, improving your internet connection, the bandwidth of your internet to get a faster stream. So that's one way. However, that is a con of ngrok. Despite the easy setup, there are some issues with latency, which is okay. So you can see right away, I just put the camera down, so it is now it's stabilized, it's fine. So it looks like to be working. So one thing I want to do is actually I want to view this URL not only on my local network, but on my phone, which is not connected to my local network. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this. And another con is the reason I close that is because we can't view the URL from my phone and the laptop at the same time, because on the free version of ngrok, it will not allow you to do that. So you actually have to pay for the paid version of ngrok to view multiple streams. So that is another con, unfortunately, of using the free version of ngrok. So I'm just going to go ahead and open the stream on my phone just to show you guys I am not crazy and it does work on an external network. So let's go ahead. You could see right away it's asking me to visit the site on my phone, which is fine. And you could see that I am viewing the stream. I'm not moving the camera yet. I can go ahead and move it a bit there. It will take a few seconds to respond. Of course, the internet on my phone is not as fast as the internet on my laptop because I'm using not my home Wi-Fi on my phone. I'm just using my internet provider or my service provider, that is AT&T. So we could see that it is responsive. So still pretty cool. And I think you could do a lot of interesting things, as we mentioned, in terms of home monitoring and security systems just based on this ngrok configuration. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Overall, we went over a very simple methodology to make a publicly facing video stream from our Raspberry Pi using the camera and Flask, all with some simple code and a really simple tool that is ngrok that allows us to be able to do this. We discussed the pros and cons. It is very simple. It's free to get started. However, we do have some issues in terms of latency and being able to view it from multiple devices, and there are some ways to overcome this as we discussed in the video. If there is more interest to see more sophisticated ways to create streams, you can do some more intricate things with AWS and other cloud providing services to make the stream more accessible and more robust. and lower latency. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video overall and the channel, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you have it. And even better, consider donating once again, because that would mean a lot. Your support means everything to me. Stay tuned, guys. Thanks for watching and take it easy.